week is a continuation of our studies of ascending into our lightness, our enlightenment, and living that, and using yoga as a way to become light beings. And we have been studying the feet, the knees, and we've been on the hips, and specifically talking about your psoas muscles. I'm so excited about talking your psoas muscles that we've had Hawaiian dancers as part of this teaching again this week, and some other fun stuff. So I'd like to begin by saying that if we're looking at the second chakra, which is what we're weaving together with this hip region, the second chakra is our power. We individuate and we start to have relationships, and this is where we have power in our relationships and power in our relationships with things. And sometimes we think of power as a bad thing. But power is a beautiful, good thing when used properly. So we're going to study a little bit about the power of choice. And when we study that through Carolyn Meese's book, we're going to weave it into understanding the psoas muscle a little bit better, and how when we are trying to, in the second chakra, we're trying to control our environment, we're trying to control other people, that we are living in this place of, we talked about 2 weeks ago, which is rigidity, and that when we begin to live rather than from fear, but from faith and trust, that we're more in the flow, and we're more healthy in our bodies and our spirits, of course. And so I asked you this week to read from Liz Cook's book, the psoas book, and I'd like you to read, starting with page 41, the fear response. Just a little bit in the short video. She begins with this part saying, "There is only one expression of fear that is considered instinctive and not dependent upon personal experience." And I'll stop for a minute and try to guess what that is. It's the fear of falling. And so this particular explanation of understanding the fear response and fight or flight really helps us make this connection to the psoas muscle, because when we're about to fall, we go in the fetal position and we look at how muscles respond to fight or flight, how everything in our body responds to that, which is beautiful and amazing and miraculous. But when we stay in this state for too long, we're unconsciously living in this state, the problems it creates. And really, this week in particular, I want you to have a really in-depth understanding of where your psoas muscle is. I want you to feel it this week. So we're going to do 3 bad dogs and a good dog to help you understand exactly where that is, and having a sense of when it's stretching, and having a sense of when you're able to like soften it more and release it, which is different than stretching. And then the importance of strengthening the psoas muscle. And again, making that connection to how we're living our lives, really observing our second chakra, and in places where we're not in the flow, but we're more in this controlling rigidity. And the quote that I'm using is written on the page here, but it's a quote by Carolyn Meese, and it really is everything that we talk about in yoga, about how we really need to facilitate this relationship and this way of living from the inside out, rather than second chakra problems being like taking what's happening in the external world and trying to feel safe in that, and trying to be myself in that, but to be ourselves and be that beautiful expression from the inside out. So the quotes are included on this beautiful email blast, and also the opportunity to click in and watch the entire half-an-hour conference, which I hope you have time for. This is a really powerful study this semester, but particularly I think this really applies to all of us, getting to understand and identify with our second chakra and our hip region.